Hi everybody. Okay, you are going to hear some background noise, but it is too warm to actually switch the fans off. Our washing machine has been fixed, so we need to catch up on a week's washing, so there's a lot of noise in the background. Also, this will be a two-part video because I've put the notes together over 2 days, okay? Saturday was hot and busy. Both my daughter and Dragon Man worked. So yeah, I was playing taxi between the two of them because we only have one vehicle. But I need to share this with you because we are always talking about negative things. So let's quickly talk about a positive real life story. Did a first aid course in grade 8 and he was hooked. In grade 9 he did a level 2 event medic course and he is now even more hooked. We are not sure whether he will be able to do level 3 through the school, but if not, then we will try and do it outside of school. He also wants to continue doing courses so that he is a full-fledged paramedic when he leaves school or soon thereafter. At the moment, he only works on a Saturday and gets paid a small amount, but he is so immensely proud of himself and so resilient and so steadfast in what he wants to do. He told me yesterday that although he wants to be a doctor, he still wants to do archaeology as well. I looked at him and had only one thought. You know what, boy? You will do both. Because somehow this kid has a way of rising above anything and everything. Saying that, I want to take the opportunity to say thank you to the 3 subscribers who took the time to help out this weekend. There's still a bit of work to do in my daughter's room, but it is clean. She can sleep on her bed again without rubbish, sand and dust falling on her head. And the washing machine still needs a bit of stabilizing and a new outlet pipe, but it is working again. I am extremely proud and would have to be in a situation where one of my kids' lives are at stake before I'll straight out ask for money or help. But to those of you who did reach out with a gift or donation these last few days, guys, you are angels. And I cannot thank you enough. We are safe in our own home again, at least from stuff falling on our heads. And the washing machine is washing those filthy linens again today. I put petrol in the car, bought some groceries, so regardless of a busy weekend, it was in many ways more peaceful than any other weekend in months. My grandson and I went to lay down when we got home on Saturday, and both of us slept well into the night. My daughter couldn't because she had the people coming to look at the washing machine. Now I woke up at about 6, just after 6 p.m. and went back to bed at about 10 and again slept until 7:30 the next morning. Dragon Man only woke up at about 9 or 10 at night and went back to sleep about an hour later and slept until 8:30 the next morning. My daughter also was in bed at about 8, I think, on Saturday night, and also slept until about 7:30 the next morning. Nearly 12 hours. Not one of us slept like this in forever. Sleeping for nearly 12 hours in a 24-hour cycle is absolutely unheard of in our home. I think we all needed it though. Okay. I wasted a lot of your time now, so let's get on with the royals. I'm going to be jumping around a bit because this is a video put together piece by piece over 3.5 days, but we'll get to it all somehow. But before we get to the royals, I just want to mention something, and you can read between the lines whatever you are comfortable with. I personally am not comfortable with any of it. Last Wednesday, peers in the House of Lords voted to decriminalise abortion in Britain for any reason at all, no questions asked, up to birth, okay? Although, I must add, because you guys are going to help me, right, okay, the law still allows abortion to within 3 months of pregnancy, thus up to 6 months, okay? And it makes it very clear that any medical professional or anybody who performs an abortion after 6 months can be prosecuted. However, the mother cannot. They are decriminalizing it. She cannot be charged even if she aborted a day before birth. So this is actually very, very dangerous. Even before we start to think about whether it's morally acceptable or not. Anyway, I do want to remind you, however, of 2 things. There are 26 Church of England bishops, which includes the Archbishop of Canterbury, York, etc., who sit in the House of Lords. As a matter of fact, they represent 3.3% of the House of Lords. People are arguing that the vote purely decriminalized abortion, that the law is not changing, like I just said. But it's a law I personally already cry about, because my Canadian grandchild was indeed born at 24 weeks. And today, she is a healthy little person we all love very, very much. So at 6 months, that tiny little thing is already viable. It is already alive when removed. So that is my personal feeling and opinion. Obviously, you can make of that what you will. Okay, folks, I have done this so many times. I have angered people because of it and have lost and gained subscribers because of it. But it is what it is, and old Bookie cannot do or change anything about it. Now, my warning or narrative is this. In the past, we could truthfully say that some things were not true until we heard it from the palace themselves. This, however, no longer holds true, and I would even go so far as to say that we should check and double check everything which comes from the palace, whether it comes out via mainstream media or social media or leaks or contacts or informants or whatever. Be very, very careful. And here is why. Think back a little. When did the royal news and royal leaks start to change? When did it become more fodder and less news? When did it become more soap opera rather than class? If you think back, it started almost at the same time as the Queen's death, or very shortly after. When did the negativity towards William and Catherine, particularly William, start? All this hogwash about his temper and this and that, etc., etc., also more or less at the time of the Queen's death or shortly after. Okay, so what does that coincide with, other than the Queen's death? It coincides with Torben André's appointment as Director of Communications and spokesperson for Charles and Camilla. Torben André had a 25-year history as tabloid executive. Torben André also had no PR experience. So guess why Charles hired him, and guess what he wants him to do. But before we make up our minds, let's stick to the facts, shall we? Since Catherine stepped into a spot of limelight in 2004, a lot of the coverage was classist or sexist, and that persisted until even after she married William. One of Catherine's top critics was the Daily Mail, specifically the opinion columns and the women-focused section female. And guess who held the senior editorial position in both these sections of the paper? None other than Torben André. Female, under André's guidance, for years, brought out stories which snidely remarked on the middle class and the upwardly mobile Middleton family full of steely social climbing matriarchs. Their words, not mine. After her wedding, Catherine was labelled no trendsetter, her eyebrows were trashy, her hair was a disaster or in need of a trim, and on it went, with Amanda Platel and Torben André leading the pack. Now that was the man Charles appointed. Why? Ask yourselves why. Because Torben André was not the most or best qualified for the job. So why? I know what I think, but what do you think? Okay, please tell me what you think in the comment section, and while you're doing that, I will tell you how it just got even worse. Charles has just appointed Sky News royal reporter Rhiannon Mills as deputy to Torben André. Rhiannon Mills, I know, is one of the journalists who ticked Harry off during their South African visit in 2019. That much I know. What I also know is that Miss Mills is also the reporter who lied, yes indeed, L-I-E-D, about Catherine's precancerous cells, and sparked great bullying of Catherine. And despite the fact that Harry told her off in South Africa, Ms. Mills is also the reporter who continuously says Harry should return to the royal fold because he is such a great asset. So, my dears, in my opinion, King Charles is becoming desperate in his attempt to bring Henry Harold back and cut William down a notch or two or three. Okay, guys, I'm by no means done with the topic, and part 2 is fast on its way. So please look out for it, because I have some important news or gossip for you, which I know has raised fear in the hearts of courtiers, and which I know for a fact has also been shared with a few royal reporters whom I know will not report on it, except for one who has already reported on it. So until we meet again on the next one, which will be, I promise, within an hour, 2 or 3, please take good care of yourselves, and stay safe. Bye.